Scale drawings. This is the Valentine's Day version. So this is a digital lesson teaching students about scale. It's a lot of fun for the students because they get to use the fill color feature of Google Slides in order to create their drawings. So it starts with a definition of what a scale drawing is, and then it gives them some vocabulary. So they're going to need this vocabulary when they get to the very last slide, so they may want to refer back to slide 3. Slide 4, they're going to create their first drawing. So it starts with a simple rectangle. So they have a 2 by 3 rectangle, and they're going to scale this figure up by a scale factor of 2. And what that means is that every side is going to be multiplied by 2. So to create this, they're just going to click in one of the squares, click and hold until they highlight what they want to color in. Once they have it highlighted, they come up here to the fill color bucket and they can choose any color they want. Now we want them to look at the perimeter and what happens to the perimeter when they've scaled up. So for the smaller figure, if they count around the outside, they're going to get a perimeter of 10 units. So they just type in 10. They count around the outside of the larger figure, they're going to have a perimeter of 20. So you want to point out to the students that what happens to the perimeter is you just multiply the smaller figure by the scale factor, or the original figure by the scale factor. So 10 times 2 would give them 20 units. Now, the next drawing is a little bit more tricky, so it gets more difficult as they go. And so they're going to create a new figure that's scaled up by a scale factor of 3. So that means every side in here is going to be 3 times 3. That's a little bit too much. Let's try that again. So we want 6 here. And again, they can choose any color they like. Okay, so now they have a scaled up drawing, same shape, just a larger size. If they look at the perimeter of the smaller figure, again, they're going to get 10 units. And if they count around the outside of the larger figure, they're going to get 30 units. So you want to point out again that what happens to the perimeter of the original figure is going to be multiplied by the scale factor. So 10 times 3 gives them a perimeter of 30. Now, the next figure is a little bit more difficult. So they're going to do the same thing again. And at this point, they should be able to predict what the perimeter is going to be. 7 is just a review. They're just going to type in when the scale factor is 2, the perimeter of the new figure is 2 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. If the scale factor is 3, the perimeter of the new figure is going to be 3 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. Now we're going to be looking at scale factors that are fractions less than 1. So what happens when the scale factor is a fraction less than 1, our figure is going to be smaller. So in this case, they're going to take each one of these sides, center measurement also, and they're going to multiply times 1/2 or divide by 2. So they're going to get a smaller figure here. And because they don't want to color in that center square, it might take them a little bit longer. Okay, so now they have a scaled down version of their original drawing. The next one's a little bit different. They're not going to be using the fill color feature on this one. And this one, they're just going to be using these bars. They're movable, and they're going to scale down this arrow by a scale factor of 1/2. So that means each one of these sides is going to be divided by 2. So I would start at the bottom because it gets a little bit tricky at the top. You might want to do this with the students. So they're going to take one of these bars, they click and hold, and they move it where they want it to go. Now, if they click on one of these little blue circles, then they can move this line where they want. So this bottom measurement is 4 units. If you divide by 2, now you've got 2 units. These sides are also going to be 2. So it might take a little bit of practice with the students to learn how to do this. Now these little measurements are going to be 1 unit. And then what you want to point out to the students is we want to find out where this tip is. So if we count from the bottom up to the tip, we've got 8 units. If we divide by 2, it's now 4 units. So that means the tip of this arrow is going to be right here at 4 units. And all you have to do on these are just connect. It does take a little bit of practice. And there we have a scaled down version of the arrow, the scaled factor of 1/2. Now the next thing we want to look at is area. What happens to the area when you have a scaled figure? So here we have a simple square. So this is a 3 by 3 square. We're going to scale it up by a scale factor of 2. So that means it's now going to be a 6 by 6 square. So the students are going to highlight, color it in, and then they're going to look at the area. So the area, if they count the squares, or they take 3 by 3, they've got an area of 9 square units. On the larger figure, 6 by 6, they're going to have 36 square units. We're not multiplying by the scale factor, but with area, we're multiplying by the scale factor squared. So 2 to the second power, or 4. So we multiply the original area by 4 to get the second area. So it's the scale factor squared. They're going to do the same thing with the next one. And then a little bit of a review. Again, when the scale factor is 2, the area of the new figure will be 2 squared, or 4 times the area of the smaller figure. When the scale factor is 3, the area of the new figure is 3 squared, or 9 times the area of the smaller figure. And then they have some sentence frames. They're going to move these terms into the correct place. All they need to do is click and hold on the edge and then move it to the correct place in their sentence frame. They can refer back to slide 3 if they need these definitions. So this is scale factor, scale drawings, the Valentine's Day version.